Welcome to Picks with the Professor, the sports betting show hosted by a real statistics professor. This is Friday, March 21st, 2025, day 2 of the NCAA tournament. We're recording this before the tournament started, so we don't actually know how Thursday went right now. We also don't know how Wednesday went right now, so we're a little ahead of that. Recording this content, these picks have already been made and delivered to everybody on our Discord, which is free in our Dub Club, which we constantly talk about how to get involved with that. And so, again, all of those picks have been made, but we're recording this earlier. Can't recap, but we want to make sure that we get your content, and that way we can kind of spend some of the time watching college basketball, enjoying the college basketball, but also I'll have a lot of work myself to do. We've got baseball coming up so fast. We already got 2 games by now. Pretty happy. Overseas, and there's just still so much work to do for the other, 28 teams that are out there, and that's coming in a week. More college basketball will be constantly updating because we're constantly getting new matchups. We're constantly working on that. Of course, hockey, which has been trucking along. So there's just a lot happening here. So we really appreciate all of your support. All of you watching all this content we put out here for college basketball. And you can read the slide. I'm not going to say anything else on it. We've talked about it all week here. Pause it if you have it.
We can recap Tuesday because, it's not a winner yet. But with 5:30 left, we've got 85 to 48. And I feel like we're going to get to 141, 142, 150 maybe. Even
probably 150. I think it's gonna be around 150 probably. So we started off the week with a win here on Tuesday, and so that's good. By the time people are watching this Friday, we've already given out another pick on Wednesday and 2 more on Thursday, and who knows how everybody else did on our Discord. Hopefully, we're celebrating some great ones. We've been doing almost nothing but celebrating. We've had like one bad day and it's sad, and then we win like 6 in a row, and then we have like one bad day and it's sad, and then we're 7 in a row.
It's like a kindergarten class. Celebrate every little thing. I love it.
Oh my God. You have to in life, right? You got to. But if you are interested in all of that over on Dub Club, of course, first month half off, link in the show description, all new low pricing. So you'll pay $15 for your first month, $29.99 after that. So much information, so much benefit, lowering the price here because we really just want to get people in. And we were kind of afraid, we're kind of just playing with some prices, trying to understand the market because we don't really understand marketing because we're not marketers. I do statistics and whatnot. And so, kind of thinking maybe this is a more approachable price point. People, we want to be inviting for people. And maybe we think this is a better price point. Hopefully it speaks to you. First month, half off again, link in the show description, a bunch of information. We've been talking about it all week. We need to move on here to Friday afternoon, Vanderbilt and St. Mary's. We covered this, of course, on the, bracket show, which was part 1, which was insanely long. I don't think we're going to say anything drastically different today. One thing of note that's happened since we recorded that is that the number has moved. When we talked about this on the show, the number was 3.5. It's out to 4.5. The model says St. Mary's by 6. If you watch that show, you already kind of know where Jake's head is. We're going to take the 4.5. It's a slight model disagreement. It's a 1.5 different, but there's some matchup things here that the model might not be seeing. And that's kind of the way it goes. We talk about with college basketball that matchups are kind of important. And so sometimes we know that it's going to play out typical and we can kind of more trust the projection a little bit more. This is one where you're really concerned about this matchup for a St. Mary's team that I think we all would love to see make a run because they've been such a great story. It's the same story as always, though. Slow pace, great defense. Can their offense get it done? Why are you liking the points with Vanderbilt knowing that St. Mary's is the better team?
One, knowing that I was probably going to put this game out for our show, I didn't want to get into this on the bracket show, but I think St. Mary's is very, very much overseeded. Like, show me their wins that give them, what's this, 7 seed? You've got 2 wins over Gonzaga, both single digits. The rest of it, nothing. You've got a loss to Arizona State early in the year. You got a loss to Boise State. The resume is not there to grab this. And I think, Vandy, on the other hand, you've got a team that went through a nasty SEC that played teams that want to slow it like this. You've got teams like Auburn and Texas A&M and Tennessee that want to play slow. They beat Tennessee at home by 1. They almost beat Tennessee on the road, made that a 5-point game. Auburn they were relatively close in there too. They like to play fast and they want to play fast, but they've got some real talent on this team. Byington, James Madison has won tournament games before with teams that were a little bit undervalued and won the games. He brought with him a few of these players like Devin McLaughlin. They also have A.J. Hogarth, who came from Michigan State, who knows how to play tournament games. You've got Jason Edwards, who's an incredible transfer pickup, little itty-bitty guy out of, I believe he came from North Texas. Leads the team in scoring, is killing it. Nickel is a matchup nightmare, especially in this game, being able to shoot threes. He adds a whole dimension here. And I just really don't see it with St. Mary's. Like, I think that slow pace and that such defense-oriented stuff is going to hurt them here, where it normally is is a really good thing to put in their back pocket. Here, I think it hurts them because they're just not going to get enough offensive opportunities for the way they need to play to cover this number. I like Vanderbilt the money line, but this is one I lean more spread than I do money line. They've got the guys with, like St. Mary's always has, that I struggle saying names, Marsolilonis and Mirakakis, that are very good, and then it really drops off after that. Saxon's a big guy with back to the bucket, but McLaughlin's going to be enough there. They deal with Broome, who is much better than Saxon. Yeah. So, nothing St. Mary's is going to do is going to be new to Vanderbilt or better than what they've already seen. I think Vandy's undefeated. I honestly think the seeds should be flipped here.
I feel a little bit like Maya Rudolph in The Good Place. I just got goosebumps. Check it out. That was a viewer. I hope you enjoyed that as much as I did. That was firm and thorough and convincing. What I will want to say is that we don't know what's going to happen in the game, and we want to keep that in mind, and we want to scale our unit wagers appropriately. We think we have a good idea what's going to happen here, and that gives us some good confidence, and that's what makes us to make the bet. But that doesn't mean we go 5 times, 10 times on it, right? We're still going to play kind of reasonable, especially if you're splitting on money line. If you put a dabble on the money line, a half unit on the money line or something like that, we just don't want to get too carried away because St. Mary's is a really good team, and weird things happen in college basketball. Again, we're only one night into the tournament, but we're wrapping up this game. And North Carolina's already at 90 points. And, we know that they could score, but against San Diego State, 90? I don't think anybody would have said that that's a reasonable possibility. So just a reminder, it's why it's called madness. It's not called March Calmness, right? But our principles still apply this whole tournament. If we're getting good numbers and good prices the whole tournament, we'll make money in the whole tournament, right? That applies to the other tournaments as well. Now, it's a little bit different to handicap those other tournaments than the NCAA tournament, but we do have model projections to help start us off there as well. But we're going to take the 4.5 with Vandy, maybe a little bit on the money line, but the idea being St. Mary's is going to play it slow. Vanderbilt's perfectly happy playing it slow. Slower game, low scoring, better chance to keep it close. And so that makes the 4.5 points. Even though the model says we should want 6 or more, we think 4.5 is fine. And we're still going to play it with Vanderbilt. The last thing, of course, here, what we've been talking about all the time, the SEC and how dominant it is. And that is going to be a theme of the first 2 days, folks. You're probably going to get tired of hearing it, but it will be interesting to see because so many of these teams will be saying the same thing you just said. Nothing they can throw at us is different or better or more complicated than what we saw all year. Because in the SEC, you saw some of the fastest teams, some of the best offenses, some of the best defense, some of the slowest teams. You've literally seen it all the way around. And that's going to be interesting to see if that's something that these teams can utilize to their advantage and maybe overperform these situations. Obviously, it'll be a small sample size, but you're still going to hear a lot about it. And this is a case where the fact that Vanderbilt's played some of those slower teams, I think that really matters a lot. And that's, I think, why we're letting it fly, even though the model is a little more hesitant, because that means a lot, what Vanderbilt did against some of those slower teams, like you said, Tennessee being a great example. You can get more information, of course, on all these games over on Dub Club. Here's your screenshot for this one. Again, just if you're looking for some more information. Otherwise, we will get to the night session. New Mexico and Marquette is the game we're going to cover here. We're going to take another dog. We're going to take New Mexico +4. We've got Marquette barely winning this one. So maybe a little bit of value here on 4. Jake, you covered this one on the bracket show, and you had some skepticism about Marquette, of course. And I think we even mentioned it there. It was interesting. I think you might be a little bit higher on New Mexico's offense and the model's a little bit higher on their defense. Either way it washes out, we think that Marquette's probably the slightly better team, but not by much. So if you get 4 points, this game could easily land 1, 2, 3, 4. And kind of the same idea as Vanderbilt, little sprinkle on the money line. Jake, how do you see this one playing out? What's your kind of quick summary for people who maybe didn't catch the over 2 hours of bracket part 1 that we did?
Like, I think this is one of the best games you're going to get to watch on Friday. I think Richard Pitino is underrated coach. I think he's a little bit snake bitten there in Minnesota. He's done a great job out here in New Mexico. And I think Marquette is really stumbling towards the end of the year. If you look at their last couple months of play, their wins are not impressive. You got DePaul, Seton Hall, Providence, and Georgetown, and then a really tight 2-point game with Xavier. They losing to UConn twice in that scenario, losing to St. John's 3 times in that. Like, not saying those losses are bad losses. It's just they're not coming through when you need it. Shaka Smart, I don't think this team jives with him as much. And Ben Gold has not been the player he was the last couple of years, shooting the way he was. I mean, is it Cam Johnson?
I think so.
Yeah, absolute stud player, worth watching just for that. But I think New Mexico is going to have his number. Their defense is very, very good. I just like their offense. I like how it works better. I think you've got probably the best, definitely the best point guard in this game with Donovan Dent. And then a couple years ago when Iona made their NCAA tournament run with Rick Pitino, Nelly Jr. Joseph was part of that team. He's back to playing at that same level. I mean,
wait, so you're telling me that a guy played for Dad Pitino and then transferred to play with? Wow, that's impressive.
Yeah, he didn't want to go to St. John's. I don't know, but so he makes
New York's a scary place. I don't know. I like it.
Makes the move out to New Mexico, and last year didn't go great for him. This year he's putting up numbers within a point of what he was putting up that last year at Iona. He's averaging a double-double in the year, 14 and 11. Very, very good player. I think no matter which way this goes, like pace-wise, I think New Mexico is ready for it. But I think it leans that way because Shaka Smart wants to play faster than what this team plays. And this is going to get going. I think he's going to get
in his perfect world, he's running and gunning and pressuring, and it's chaos. That's what he loved to do, right? Back in the day, that was his calling card.
Yeah, and I think he's done a great job with his team, showing that he can be flexible and he's not so locked into this. But I think this was a worse straw he could have had for this seed line, and New Mexico, I think, just takes advantage of him. I love getting the points here. I'm on the money line. This one I'm splitting even. I really like New Mexico here, but definitely recommend them taking the points as well.
I kind of see why the kid transferred to New Mexico. I mean, Albuquerque, in my opinion, one of the more underrated cities in America. Pretty good weather, nice if you get the mountain there, you get some skiing, mountain time zone, inarguably, it's a fact, best time zone. No one can, anyone saying differently, you're just wrong. Mountain time zone's the best time zone. Also underrated, though, New Mexico's offense. And I think that's something that I kind of wanted to just touch on real quick here, is that viewer, you may be seeing on the screen, and if you're with us on an audio-only podcast, you're missing out on this. We've got New Mexico's offense ranked 113 and Marquette 123. It's IQ scaling, so it's a standard deviation of 15, 100 is the mean. So Marquette's less than a standard deviation better. That's not nothing. But I wanted to spend just a second here to say, the difference between where they're ranked, which is roughly number 30 and number 70, when 364 teams are involved, might not be as much as you think, in that the variance in college basketball games is through the roof. And viewer, you're probably like, yeah, I know I've watched college basketball. But I mean, even more specifically than that, it's probably even more through the roof than you realize. And what I mean by that is when you have multiple sources of variance that are all varying at the same time, then what happens sometimes is it kind of comes out in the wash. One player plays well, one player plays bad. And next player plays well, next player plays bad. Boom, you have an average game. How many times does that happen, though, right? You very rarely ever see the average performance of a team. You're either much better or much worse. And the idea is that those two teams are close enough where absolutely that is why. That is the difference, right? I mean, you look defensively, they're almost exactly the same, right? Number 15, number 19, they're really close there. But Marquette only been average of 2.5, 2 points of that's from the offense. So it's not to say that the offense of Marquette isn't better. It's just saying it's only 2 points better. And there's just a lot of teams in there that are all pretty good at offense. It's not hard to be good at college basketball offense if you have a good coach and you've got some NIL money. It's hard to be great. And that's what the teams at the top, like the Dukes, are doing right now. The Floridas, right? These teams, they're great at these things. And the idea here, I think, is Marquette, does have a better offense, but their offense is just merely good. And that's enough to say they probably should be favored, but not by much. That's where, again, I think we're both kind of saying, like, maybe we'd have them slightly favored, but getting 4 points is just way too much value. Big plus odds on the money line. I like that idea as well. The pace is interesting to me, of course, because like you said, Marquette definitely wants to go faster. New Mexico does too. So this could be a fun game. Sideline has this as the best game on Friday, not just Friday night, Friday all day, with the Ole Miss and Illinois games yet to be. I have not plugged them in yet to give them a grade for how fun the game we think it'll be. Of course, the second best game Friday is the Baylor game, which starts us off at 12:15. And I have watched a Baylor game before. That was the early tip where they were a 5 seed and lost, and I think maybe a 3 seed and lost. And so if you'll excuse me, I'm about to go walk into traffic because this does not seem like going to be a fun day for me. That's all we've got here for you today. Again, remember, you can support the show in a lot of different ways that we do appreciate. Just watching the show, we do thank you so much for that. Picks only, as Jake's always say, hey, drop $1, throw $1 away, test us out here, take $1 off one of your bets, and just get in the door here, get some picks. It'll be a lot of fun for everyone. Or if you're looking at half off your first month for the honor roll, which you won't regret. It's a very small investment. Try it out one time and see what you think. But there is just so much information. There's so much value there. You should be able to get your money's worth in almost no time, which is my goal. I don't want to take your money. I want to provide you with value. I want you to help me buy food, and I want to help you win money. I mean, that's just as simple as it is. I want to take care of each other. And so we've done that over on Discord. We have a great little community over there. Cannot recommend them enough. Jake, we will be back. We will be covering Saturday, maybe Sunday. I don't know. We'll see how it goes.
When are we, like, we've had this tournament go on long enough. When are we going to come up with a decent name for the second round? Like, the round of 32, I don't like it. The second round is lame. Then it goes to the Sweet 16, Elite 8. Final, like,
everything's got fun. Yeah.
Like, we got to find something.
The Thirsty 32.
Yeah.
We'll workshop it. Hey, viewer in the comment, if you've got a great name, drop it, and we'll promote it. When we're sports are and whatever, we'll make it happen.
Yeah, we'll see what we can do to help you get your name out there.
Exactly. We will be back for more college basketball. We've had so much content out there already. Hopefully it's been fun. Hopefully it's a great tournament. Again, we do thank you so much for watching. You cannot express that enough. If you're with us on Doug Club already, we really appreciate it. If you're not, check it out. We want to take care of you over there, and I cannot express that enough. But we do wish you the best of luck here during all of the craziness this month here in college basketball. Hopefully you're keeping your head above water. And remember that while you can eat your betting money, please do not bet your eating money.